welcome back to another episode of Publicized Theory Podcast, the podcast where I talk about self mastery, self development, and concepts that help all of us become the best versions of ourselves. Thank you all again for tapping in with me to another episode. This is episode 21. The official ending for season 1 will be episode 22, the next episode, going 22 deep on each season. Being that I was born on the 22nd of February, I felt that it was only right to make it the even number 22. Season 1 has been amazing. 6 months of episodes that I can always look back on, listen to, use as really motivation and inspiration for me moving forward, as well as everyone who's able to tap in and listen, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. So again, thank you all for tapping in with me to a full season of Publicized Theory. Today, in this episode, I wanted to talk about what if everything that you desire, what if everything that you want, what if all of your goals actually worked out? So often it's easy to cater to the what if scenarios, the worst case scenarios, the scenarios that are opposite of what we actually want to happen. And it's crazy. Just think about that for a second. Sometimes we spend so much time thinking about the things that we don't want to happen instead of thinking about the things that we do want to happen. And I genuinely feel that all of that energy and all of that time spent thinking and contemplating and worrying and stressing on those things that we don't want to happen takes away the opportunity of giving life into the things that we actually want to have. So, as you can see by the title of the episode, what if it all works out? What if it all works out the way you actually want it to work out? Maybe it may not happen the exact way you wanted it to work out. But what if the end result, when all is said and done, actually happened? What would that feel like? What will that be like? What will you do when that happens? It's a different thought process. It's a different feeling that you feel. It's a different type of energy and aura that you carry when you are thinking about that, because those things, achieving those things and fulfilling those desires brings forth a positive energy that is contagious, that someone can feel, that you can give off day in and day out, regardless if it has happened already. People will feel that if you're in that frequency. And I've been a victim of this too, in terms of taking time to think about the what if scenarios and the worst case scenarios, and rightly so in some respects, because obviously you don't want to leave any stone unturned when it comes to being prepared for those scenarios. But to dwell and to allow it to control and navigate your thought processes day in and day out is something that isn't really beneficial to you getting to the places that you want to go. So, how can we craft our thoughts in a way that allows us to continually be in the what if it works out frequency, or when it works out frequency, or it is working out frequency? Because we can find a whole host of reasons why something can't work. And many of the times, if you were to express your ideas to individuals, friends, family, whatever the case may be, the mind automatically tends to give you reasons why something can't happen. I don't know why. I don't know how we can change that. But for some reason, our mind goes towards the roadblocks. And there's pros and cons to that, because obviously we need to be prepared for the roadblocks in terms of finding solutions to those problems that may exist or that may exist down the line. So there's a pro to that. The con is only when it's driving the narrative, when it's only dominating every single thought process that goes with the idea or the goal or the dream. You need to allow a lot of space in your mind for why something can happen instead of why something can't happen. 95%, if not more, should go towards why something will happen, why something can happen, and what you need to do and who you need to become to make it and allow it to happen. This episode is just as equally for me as it is for you. Telling myself, what if it all works out? What if you are able to simply make 6, 7, 8 figures a year? What if that is the same for you? How can we day in and day out align our thoughts to the things that we actually want to come into our lives, or the things that we want to create, or the life that we want to design? How are we nurturing those thoughts? How are we nurturing ourselves? How are we creating the person that will be able to handle the things that we are working towards and in some cases asking for? How are we doing the day-to-day work in controlling our mental narrative around the things that we desire? Because if the mental narrative around the things that you desire is it's not happening, it won't happen, it's far-fetched, you better have a plan B, C, D. If that's the overwhelming narrative around the things that you want and that you desire, it'll be 10 times harder for those things to come into your life because you want to be the person that attracts those things into your life. There's this saying, to whom much is given, much is required. And in so many ways, that's true because you want so many things. We desire so many things, and it doesn't have to be on a materialistic standpoint. It can be wanting to give back. It can be wanting to help people. It can be creating businesses or just watching our creativity flourish and blossom in actual pieces of work, whether it be art or canvases, whatever the case may be. We want to accomplish so many things. But with that, we're required to be in a state of mind that allows us to grow, allows us to mature, allows us to learn from our mistakes, allows us to be aware, allows us to be in a state of acceptance to what is. It's tough trying to operate in one specific frequency when everyone's operating in a frequency of their own, and in some cases one that is completely opposite to the one that you're in. So protecting that space, protecting that energy, protecting your surroundings, protecting your environment is a crucial role in developing that mental narrative that you have to cater to and nurture to day in and day out. Because your mind, your subconscious, it feeds on a lot of different things day in and day out. The thoughts, definitely, it feeds off of. What do you think you're thinking about when you go to bed? What do you think you're waking up to when that alarm goes off? How are you moving day in and day out? When you are doing those tasks that you believe will make you the person you want to become and will allow you to get the things that you want, what type of energy are you putting in towards that? Are you putting in an energy that states, if I do this, I will get that? Or you're putting in energy that states, well, I don't know, if I do this, I will get that, but it's worth a shot. And yes, that may be good for some people, but you need to be all in terms of believing in what it is that you're doing and understand that you will learn along the way if in fact you were doing something incorrectly and could have been doing it better. But that just goes into the acceptance part. That just goes into dropping and releasing the resistance that you carry on in the activities that you're doing if in fact something doesn't go your way. But we have to always ensure that our mental narrative is one that will cater to the manifestation of the things that we desire. It's a daily grind, a daily mental grind, a daily physical grind in terms of working on your craft, going to a job that you don't want to be at, being indecisive in the route that you want to go, not knowing your next move. There's so many different elements that go on a day-to-day basis that can easily nitpick on that mental narrative and cause us to believe that what it is that we want and desire isn't really going to happen or can't happen or won't happen. And we shut ourselves down to the opportunities that exist. But back to the title, what if it all works out? Then what? Then I'm sure you would have proved a lot of people wrong. Then I'm sure you would have made a lot of people happy and made so many people proud of you, changed your life, your family's lives, and set yourself up for an even better future. Doesn't that feel good? I mean, it felt good saying it. I can only imagine how it feels feeling it day in and day out, which I know how it feels because I felt it before. And I continue to try to feel it by creating a positive mental narrative day in and day out. On some days, those thoughts will get the best of you. On some days, you may be in a funk. On some days, you will feel down. But fundamentally, you have to have that sound mental narrative because we can say one thing and we can do the complete opposite. We can say that we want something but don't put in the work to get it. We can say that we learned something but continue to make the same mistake. We can say that we're positive but come off in a negative way. There's a lot of yin and yang to the situation. There's a lot of things that we have to control. There's a lot of thoughts that we have to shoot down when we think and replace them with other thoughts that are, like I said, catering to the person, to the things, to the life that we actually want to create and design for ourselves. Think about that moving forward. What is your current mental narrative of the things that you desire, the goals that you have, the dreams that you have, the places you want to go, the people you want to impact? How's that mental narrative catering to your day to day? Is it positive? Is it negative? Are there areas that you can improve? Are there things that you need to shoot down right now because it's not nurturing the life that you want to design? Challenge you to think about that over the weekend and look for ways that you can improve that mental narrative if it's not one that you wholeheartedly are in acceptance of. I'm continually doing the same, and I think we all should. That mental narrative plays a huge role in the frequency that we are operating in, the things that we attract, the things that we manifest, the energy that we give towards people, how we can be a blessing to other people, so on and so forth. It is a ripple effect. Thank you all for tapping in with me to another episode of Publicized Theory. This is the second to last episode of this season. Next episode will be the last episode of season 1 of PT. June 12th will be officially 6 months of Publicized Theory podcast, which I'm grateful for. Looking forward to another 6 months ahead, another 22 episodes of just core insight, core experiences, ways that we all can get better, become the best version of ourselves. I say it in every intro. But again, thank you all for tapping in with me to another episode. Continue to have an amazing week. As always, stay safe, stay blessed.